Hey guys, welcome to my latest landscape photography edition here in Tasmania. This morning I am very tired, a 4 a.m. start to get to where I'm going. I'm heading down to the heart of the west coast and I'm going to try and photograph Mount Murchinson, which is right next to a little lakeside village called Tulla. It's a beautiful mountain. For me, it feels like the centerpiece of the west coast. Everyone drives past it or you've got to drive around it. So hopefully I'm going to get a clear sky. I'm not too sure. Mountains are always quite tricky, as we know, and I'm hoping for a picture straight out of the bag today. And when I mean a picture straight out of the bag, I'm hoping just to turn up, find a good spot, pull the camera out the bag, grab a picture and head back home and get some more sleep. But if I don't, I'm just going to have to come back down here, time again, check it out, hope for it, and get that photo I'm looking for. As with landscape photography, always is, got to exercise a lot of patience. But my chances of getting that photo are much higher today because I'm out of bed and I'm down here and I'm doing it. So let's go and have a look and see if the mountain's clear. So I've just arrived on location here at the Macintosh Dam, it's called, to try and grab a picture of the mountain, and the mist off the lake looks sensational at this stage. Nice little bit of cloud cover, I'm getting some nice little pink wisps up in the sky, and the mist off the lake is what's really caught my attention here, as it's starting to peel off as the day starts to break. So I'm going to set myself up right at the lake edge down here and swing around and try and grab this picture. And I'll just give you a quick look and see if you can see what I'm looking at. So I've just taken a few preliminary shots and the sky is starting to colour up just nicely now, and I'm getting some nice pinky purple hues, which is quite nice. I've set myself up down on the foreshore alongside this bulrush just to add a bit of foreground interest to this picture. I've even got a couple of local ducks coming over to say hello this morning and a few platypus, which is really nice. So I've got my 35mm Zeiss Distagon and I have taken a few exposures. One of them was a really long exposure with a 6-stop filter on the front of it, just to try and add some motion to the mist, which has given me a pretty cool result. But I think I prefer the mist with a shutter speed of around a second. It just seems to have a little bit more brilliance in the mist. So I'm going to wait for this sun to poke up over the brow and take a few more images. So I've just packed up shooting here at Lake Murchinson, and I've done what a lot of photographers do from time to time, and that's rushed into it. And I had a look at the back of my LCD screen when I was shooting with a 35mm, and I was wondering why I didn't have amazing sharpness, and I obviously didn't check my camera settings from my previous excursion, and I was shooting at f4, so my depth of field wasn't great. But my saving grace is I stuck an 85mm zoom on, a good prime lens, another Zeiss lens, and I took a few compositions with that, and even though that was shot at f4, the images are razor sharp as I've eliminated a fair bit of foreground. So when it comes to processing, I think I'm actually going to run with the 85mm prime lens shots. I think that the composition has got more focus on the mountain, which gives the image a little bit more sense of power. So once again, I'm going to head back, but on the way I'm going to stop at the little chalet and get myself some nice eggs and bacon on toast and a cup of warm coffee. So stay tuned. So I just packed up from shooting Mount Murchinson from the lake, and I've looked over the back of the mountain when I've left, and I've noticed a bit of an interesting cloud formation starting to happen. So I've driven around the back side of the mountain, so I'm facing northwesterly now, and I've got a really interesting view of the mountain. As you can see, the clouds are peeling off the top, and strangely enough, all around me it's a beautiful clear blue sky, which is not amazing for moody mountain photos. So I've put my 85mm prime lens on to cut right into the top of the mountain and chop all the blue sky, and I have fixed the camera. I've put it on f11 this time, so I've got a great depth of field, but I'm still going to need to focus stack the bush in the foreground as it's still a little bit blurry as a single image. And I'm just going to take a few more shots here. I might put a 6-stop filter on the front and create a little bit of motion blur with some of the clouds lifting off the back, and I can't wait to see if I've got a good result from this on the big screen at home too. So never say never, and continue on. So I've just done a little bit of exploring, and something I didn't really think I'd do today is do a bit of scrub bashing, but I've just found another little spot down through the fringe here, which I think will make an interesting picture with a bit more expanse in the foreground. So I'm here, I may as well try it. The only thing that's got me a little bit worried this time of year is snakes. They start to get a bit energetic as the sun comes out, and I don't want to upset them by treading on them. Especially tiger snakes down here along the west coast are always prevalent. And I've just come through into a bit of an opening here, and it's got a nice elevated view of Mount Murchinson. It's actually really wet underfoot here still. I guess spring and a bit of rain. And just maybe up here. Up on this rock. So I'll set up and zoom in with my 85mm and try and get something a bit different here. So I have just finished taking a series of pictures down there, which was really quite interesting. It's really quite interesting how I've got an amazing sky, looks very forbidding and dramatic, but everything around me is quite blue and happy. So I might just work my way back up this bank through the scrub, looking over my shoulder, just checking out to see if there's any more interesting shots. But like I said earlier, when I was at the lake, I think it's nearly time to head back home and do some editing and have a look at what I've got that's a usable image. So I'll just head back up this bank and chat soon. Goes to show you don't have to go too far to get some amazing photography here in Tasmania. As I've crawled back over the bank on the side of the road here, I've just looked back, and I really love the way that the bushes just on this escarpment add a real strong foreground against this background, this beautiful mountain. I've taken 2 exposures, one with the foreground getting some nice catch light from the sun in it, which has given some nice brilliance, and I've taken an exposure for the background just to darken the clouds off and give this a little bit more mood. I'm going to have to do a bit of a layer stack as well, because that foreground is super close where the background is, well, you can see it's a long way away. And like I said, just goes to show, just packing up, just turn your head around. If you really want to enjoy Tasmania, you don't need to go too wild. I'm standing at the car, you can just jump out and grab some amazing scenery shots just like that. So I think the weather's now well and truly bluing up and the clouds are starting to blow off, so it's time to go back home.